Welcome to the KK Petsy TV.
Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel.
We do doll videos, Roblox, baking, and vlogs.
We also do short films such as The Story of Crazy Face, and we also do Talking Hot Show.
A special thank you to Blue Blood Sports TV. Thank you so much for your support. We will continue to work hard and bring you more content. Bye!
Show support. Subscribe to KK Penson TV. If you got children, if you got nieces, if you got nephews, if you got little cousins, if you have friends that have kids, make sure they subscribe to KK Penson TV. Please do that. Show love and show support.
Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. lays out his 3-fight plan in order in which he wants to have these fights, and before he makes his exit of the welterweight division and goes up to the junior middleweight 154-pound division, Errol Spence lays out his 3-fight plan in the welterweight division. He says first he wants to face former 2-time world champion, 2-division world champion, former unified junior welterweight world champion, former WBC welterweight world champion Danny Swift Garcia. Then he wants to face legendary 8-division former world champion, current WBA welterweight world champion, Filipino superstar, world boxer, world champion Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Then he wants to go into the mega showdown with 3-division former world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, current WBO welterweight world champion, superstar, and considered by most as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Terrence "Bud" Crawford. So Errol Spence says before he exits the division, this is his 3-fight plan before he exits the division in his near future. So he wants to have the fight with Danny Garcia, which seems to be on the cusp of taking place in September. Then he wants to fight Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. That fight will most likely happen at the end of the year, maybe, in the early first quarter of 2021. And then he wants to have what is considered the biggest fight within the sport of boxing against Terrence "Bud" Crawford, in which would be, should he be victorious against Manny Pacquiao, the fight with Terrence Crawford would be for undisputed, because Errol Spence holds the WBC and he holds the IBF. Manny Pacquiao holds the WBA. So if he is to follow this plan and it plays out how he expects it to play out, by the time he fights Terrence Crawford, that fight will be for undisputed. That will be a mega fight, to say the very least. Now, one thing concerns me about this plan, my hiccup, is that Manny Pacquiao reached out to top ranked CEO, legendary promoter, and his former promoter, Bob Arum, about staging the showdown between himself and that of undefeated WBO Terrence "Bud" Crawford. So if that fight does come to fruition, then that will kind of put a halt or a monkey wrench in the plans for Errol Spence, because Errol Spence won't be able to face both in that order, because it just won't call for him facing the loser of the fight in his second fight, right? So let's say if Manny Pacquiao loses, for him to face Manny Pacquiao, it's going to be frowned upon, right? So he would have to then go immediately into the fight with Terrence Crawford, right? Because for one, there won't be anything left for Terrence Crawford to do, but to face Errol Spence, right? The best thing for him at that point in time would be to face Errol Spence, right? And vice versa, because then it would be for undisputed. But if that fight, let's say Manny Pacquiao decides to go the direction of fighting former 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia, then this plan can lay out and play out just like Errol Spence is seeing it, visioning it, right? He could face Danny Garcia, be victorious. Then Manny Pacquiao will more than likely defeat Mikey Garcia. Then he'll be available. His next fight would be Errol Spence. Then Errol Spence defeats Manny Pacquiao. He would be the WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, undefeated. At that point in time, most would probably consider him the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Then he will be going into a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford for undisputed. Now, for Terrence Crawford, if this was to play out in this manner, where Manny Pacquiao fights Mikey Garcia instead of fighting him, more than likely you'll see Terrence Crawford face off against Kell Brook in a fight that would be the biggest name on his resume. But skill-wise, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. At one point in time, Kell Brook's career, I would favor Terrence Crawford to be successful in that fight. So if that's the case, then the fight after Terrence Crawford beats Kell Brook, Errol Spence beat Manny Pacquiao. Well, Terrence Crawford beats Kell Brook, and then Terrence Crawford will have to have another fight, as I'm thinking about it, right? Because Manny Pacquiao fights Mikey Garcia his next fight. Errol Spence fights Danny Garcia. Then Terrence Crawford in his next fight be fighting Kell Brook. Then after that, Errol Spence will be fighting Manny Pacquiao and vice versa. Then Terrence Crawford be looking for another opponent. At that point in time, I'm pretty sure the boxing world, after he defeats Kell Brook, the boxing world will be calling for Terrence Crawford at that point in time to face off against former two-time welterweight world champion Showtime Sean Porter. That would make all the sense in the world. So then if the chips fall how, Errol Spence is expecting it to play out, at that point in time, Terrence Crawford against Sean Porter makes all the sense in the world. And then after he defeats, should he be successful against against Sean Porter, then look to have the mega showdown. It would be even bigger. If Errol Spence goes on to beat Danny Garcia and then goes on to beat Manny Pacquiao and hold three world titles, and the only belt he needs is Terrence Crawford's belt, and this is already right now the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and then Terrence Crawford defeats Kell Brook and then defeats Sean Porter, that it would be enormous. Enormous. I'm expecting that pay-per-view to do at the very least 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. That's at the very least. It may rival 2 million pay-per-view buys. It may do 2.0 million pay-per-view buys, household buys at that point in time, because Kell Brook for Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter for Terrence Crawford is only going to raise his stock. And it's for sure going to raise Errol Spence stock, defeating Danny Garcia and Manny Pacquiao. And the fight on top of it is going to be for undisputed. Wow. That would make Terrence Crawford, put him in a position to become a 2-division undisputed world champion, should he beat Errol Spence. And for Errol Spence to be undisputed at welterweight and running the gauntlet, going through Danny Garcia, going through Sean Porter, going through Kell Brook in the UK, going through Manny Pacquiao, and then going through Terrence Crawford, that's a Hall of Fame career. His legacy is already set if he sets the table and eats in that manner. Then moving up to junior middleweight, sky's the limit for either guy. So let's see how this plays out. And I absolutely can't wait. I can't wait till the sport of boxing resumes as normal. Point blank and period. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Jasmine. Thank you for watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, soy Jasmine. Gracias por ver Sangre Azul Deportes TV. Gracias.